Before I started interviewing, I did come to the Career Center, and they have different, pamphlets and information on different types of interviews. So I did see that there was a difference between behavioral and case interview. And then I just looked it up on the internet and saw there were like vault guides. Actually, and I think Georgetown students can get access to the vault guides as well. And those really kind of help you think about how to think through a case question and give you several examples. Also had several study groups with friends who were all doing, consulting interviews at the same time. And we just kind of sit around in the evening or at the library and test each other on different case questions. I think the key is probably to, remain as comfortable as possible when you are in the interview, and just think about it as thinking through a question. So they'll ask you the types of questions like, they could ask you a business case, like a company is, losing profit this year, and they want to look at where to cut costs. And so you have to just kind of ask different questions so that you have very little information. So where would you start? What does the company do? Maybe would help. And what is the market like? The goal is, from what I read and heard, is to just hear your thought process and how you would think about approaching a problem and coming up with a conclusion. So like I said, there's no right answer, and you can be miles off of what may be a right answer. But if the interviewer can see that you're making logical steps, and if it involves math, if you're able to do the math, it's usually basic math, pretty comfortably and in your head, then that's really what they're looking for. Someone that can think on their feet too and remain calm while they're being asked something on the spot. Your multiplication table is good to brush up on, because that'll come in handy. But also I just say, just don't cram. It's not something you can just learn last minute for a test, because it's really just being comfortable with a certain way of thinking, and maybe just thinking out loud, which is different for some people who might internally they can get it really quickly, but you have to feel comfortable walking through your steps out loud. And that's something that you just become confident in doing it over time. Some people I know, at a higher level after grad school, when they're trying to become senior managers in a consulting firm, will spend an entire summer just studying and practicing case studies, just like you would study for a GMAT exam. So it's really something that you develop. I would recommend maybe a month of kind of, in between your studies, taking maybe a night or two a week to look over some case studies and practice with your friends. But it's not something that you just cram the day before your interview, because I did see quite a few friends doing that, and it just makes you nervous and flustered for the actual day. So that doesn't help. Where can they afford to cut costs, and what type of service or goods are they providing, and all that. So if you're comfortable with it and just kind of think through it, and I'm not an expert, of course, because I only did it a couple times, but that helps, just kind of taking a step back and kind of talking through it with the interviewer, instead of just feeling really nervous like you have to have a right answer, because there is no right answer.